Welcome to today's episode of Tweaking Tips for Shopify, where we dive deep into different tips and strategies on how to tweak your website to get more sales. My name is Sagar, and joining me today is Nannan from ilandco. Nannan acquired ilandco back in January 2023 and has been running the ilandco online store successfully since then. I'm very excited to have you here on my podcast, Nannan. Welcome.
Thank you, Sagar. Thanks for inviting me, for an interview.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer for everyone.
Sure, let's get started. The first thing that I want to ask you is why did you decide to buy ilandco and your journey since then?
I actually came from a fashion background, working for a major Australian fashion chain store. And I've always loved fashion, and we saw a gap in the market that, provide really good quality clothing at a good price. That's not fast fashion. That's comfortable, stylish for women. That's a little bit over 35, not for the young market. So, and then we came across ilandco that was ready for sale, and went through it with that.
So how did you come across it? Is there like a website you go to and you make
Well, actually, the owner was our customer.
All right.
Yeah. So she was our customer for she wanted besides ilandco, we actually own another business. We being me and my husband. We do picking and packing 3PL service and also Australia Post. So it's a parcel service. And the owner was wanted us to do picking and packing for her. Yeah, and then
all
that
right.
came about. So yeah.
Okay, so you saw an opportunity and then you decided to
That's
buy.
right. Yeah.
So how your journey has been since then, like since acquiring it last year?
Yeah.
So you sort of like what's your journey has been?
Well, there was actually a lot of learning because e-commerce, from my background, was bricks and mortar store. E-commerce is actually very different. In terms of production of clothing, there's no problem for me. But the journey of advertising on through Meta, Google, and SEO, all that, CRO, it's been a huge learning curve for us. And even just to understand how Shopify works. I was completely new into that, and it hasn't been easy, but it has been very rewarding.
Yeah, there are a lot of moving parts that you have to learn about e-commerce, whether it's just using the platform, Shopify. I mean, it's very easy to use platform, but yeah, when you're learning, when you're introduced it to the first time, there can be a lot of challenges.
That's right. Before I knew about e-commerce as an industry, I thought you just list everything on Shopify, it will sell pretty much, but it's not quite the case.
Right. It's like having your own store, and then you have to do everything else to get people to your store. Nobody's going to do anything
Yes.
for you.
Or even harder, because when you have a physical store, you're normally on a very busy street, so there's already foot traffic. Whereas when you have a website store, nobody knows about you. You have to drive your own foot traffic, and that's very different. Yeah.
Okay, so you did have an experience of being in e-commerce, but did you have any experience in selling online before you acquired
I
ilandco?
didn't. No. The only experience is physical retail in head office and creating products.
Oh, all right. So how did you approach, because when you don't have any experience selling something online and you're doing it for the first time, What sort of thinking goes behind, okay, what these are the steps I'm going to take to learn these things, or seek help from somebody, or I'm just going to just jump in and do it on my own?
The initial thought is I'll jump in and try it out, and that didn't work out. So then we looked for classes, all sorts of online courses that would help us to get to have a better understanding, the basics. And then that wasn't enough. So we onboarded with, a big online course provider on e-commerce for more one-on-one approaches. So we have like pretty much 3 online course provider going to learn this quickly. Yeah.
Oh, all
And
right.
and also obviously, we met you, so we got help through you for helping out, tweaking, building Shopify, and just anyone that have an understanding that you just to get more ideas from. Yeah.
All right. So how was the course that were teaching you all these things? How has that been?
It
Because
has
I
been
think
great.
it's been
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, we had my initial thought is just get all the agencies to do advertising for us, get this agency, that agency, and that actually didn't work out very well. So,
What would you say is the reason for that, for not working out with an
we've
agency?
actually we've burnt a lot of money through paying agencies for doing ads for us. So, but now that we're doing courses to learn how to do, bring the traffic in ourselves, like Meta ads, Google ads, it's actually doing better. The reason being because, a lot of agencies work on, having many, many accounts, and they don't really have a full understanding of your business. So, and, nobody will be able to do ads and things better than an owner, more focused and looking at it every day, which you can't ask the agency to do. So, yeah.
Right. I've actually, in my experience, I've seen people spending money and giving these marketing agencies like a lot of money, but they don't get as good of a result as they would as they are doing if they are doing it by themselves, because they don't understand their products, they don't understand their
Exactly.
market very well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's a huge gap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the way they make money is to get more clients. But then the more clients that they have, then they're less, focus they'll have on individual businesses.
All right.
And
So
yeah.
yeah.
And also, the, if you have an online business that has a lot of items, it'll be quite hard for them to get their head around.
Right. So it's best to sort of learn how to market yourself first and see what you can do, and then maybe hire somebody else to get additional help, but not rely on them totally to get all the customers for you.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, definitely learn it yourself, try to do it yourself. And then once it does get bigger, you can hire somebody internally. But at least, if you want to get an agency, at least, weed out the good ones and the versus the bad ones. And who's actually doing a good job and who's not. So you can hire a good agency if that's the route you want to go down.
Yeah, this is a very important point. I agree. So coming on to the next question, which is like with an established business, you already have manufacturing suppliers, partners, so they're all well established. How do you ensure that they design the clothes and execute your vision successfully?
With fashion, it's all about sampling. The process of sampling product is very important. You can find really good suppliers or really bad suppliers. And once the sample done and the manufacturing done, there needs to be quality control and assurance to make sure everything is done properly. The measurements are, the right. There's no loose threads or anything. And also it's about building supplier relationships. You treat them, you are a customer, but you treat them like family. And the vision is to have a long-term relationship with the suppliers, and then, things becomes good. Yeah. But then if you feel like, oh, I'm the customer, you should treat me like a king, then it's not going to work out. There needs to be a mutual respect. And then you'll find good suppliers, that is willing to and love to work with you.
Sure. But did you have any quality or product issues in the beginning or till now?
Yeah,
Or
we did. We had one that we ordered some, and then one of the suppliers in China, they thought that this factory could make these garments, but then it came and the sewing was terrible. I couldn't really sell it. They had to rework it, and then that delayed everything. So some people will claim that they can make something, but it's actually they can't. Each factory have very different capabilities.
so
Yeah.
this is sort of you have to do a trial and then maybe it will happen or maybe the quality will not be good. So do you think it's more like, like just trying out different suppliers?
Um, I would not just try out, I will go to the exhibitions. So the good supplies I found personally are actually through exhibitions, trade shows, that they're physically there, so you can physically see their products and what they've done and their history, and then you're comfortable working with them, then you start sampling process. Whereas the one we didn't work out, I never met the factory. It was through a friend of mine, and she thought they did good job, but then they couldn't. And yeah. So definitely go to trade shows if you want to find suppliers.
All right. Yeah, in my last podcast with Ali, she's also an Australian business owner. She came to Delhi. There was some exhibition she attended and met the suppliers in person. And she met a lot of suppliers and finally chose a couple that she thought can execute her vision and she'll have a good relationship with them. So it's really about, and you're saying the same thing, is like go to the exhibition, meet the people who are behind the production, so to sort of see, okay, if they can actually execute your vision or not.
That's right. And the most important thing is to actually find the owners of factories, not the middleman.
Sure.
Because sometimes the middleman don't have much control over what the factory can produce. Yeah, so you want to talk direct to the factory, so their capability and what they can do, because sometimes the middleman will miss some parts as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm.
So you recently rebranded the store. What was the
Yeah.
reason for rebranding?
Because the brand's been around for many years now, probably 6-7 years. It's time for a refresh, and to take it to the next 10 years. So yeah, I like to make it a bit more modern. Yeah, so just because fashion, you need to stay, on trend, and the visual and everything needs to look on trend. And every few years, clothing brand will rebrand, update their brand, like just a refresh.
Sure.
It's quite common. Yeah.
Can you give us some points or walk us through what the rebranding process looks like?
Yeah. So with the rebranding, I happen to found a great, I guess, designer, a rebranding company that could execute what I wanted. It's not cheap. rebranding, the good ones, because I thought it would be something easy, just creating a new logo, bring some new colors and fonts. It's not that simple. It involves you to think about what your brand really means, what gets you going, why is your customer buying your product, and how do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the crowd. And yeah, exactly. So what is your banner? What is the message that you want to tell your customer? It's start from that, and then it goes to the style of brand that you like, that inspire you. So we'll find inspirations, and then designer will pick out the inspiration, and then they go through a full graphics design deck. Then they offer maybe 3 to 4 styles that they think that I'll like, and then I'll pick that. I'll pull out some elements that I like, elements that I don't. I'll pull out the colors and all that, and then the font, and then there's a rebrand. And then obviously after the rebranding, all the pretty things done, it needs to execute on Shopify as well. Yeah, and then the packaging needs to be rebranded, or your social media. So yeah,
It seems
it
like
was
a
a
lot of
long.
places.
Yeah, exactly. It has a lot of touch points. So and it needs to be cohesive. So yeah, it was probably 3 to 6 months, the whole thing.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's a long time.
yeah, it did take a long time.
Okay. And during this time or just before you start rebranding, do you talk to your customers about what they are looking for or what they might like, or is it all your
In,
vision?
in terms of brand or clothing? For
Uh,
branding, no.
both. Okay.
Clothing, we always we try to talk to customers, ask what they like, what they don't. You just listen to them. The ones that's very loyal will always love your product that's you're producing, but then sometimes it's hard to gauge what's missing. So that's the risk that as an owner you'll have to take and have that vision. Yeah, especially with clothes. It's sometimes it's a hit and miss. You might think it sell, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's like some business owner, they think, okay, this is going to be a great idea and will sell a lot. But when they put it, it doesn't sell. And then the product that they thought will not sell much, and it goes out of stock in no time. So it's
Yeah. So the key is to test product. Yeah, to find a supplier that has that is willing to work with you, that have very small units, that is willing to make very small quantities to start with you. And then if it goes well, you can order more. But then if you order too much in the upfront your money, then you don't have the cash flow to do marketing either. And if it doesn't sell, you're stuck with it. And it's a very painful journey when you're stuck with the stuff that people don't want.
Yeah, that's true. And keeping that in mind, I always had this question like, how do business owners decide how much of a particular size they would want to have in a style?
Okay, so that's through history. So you
Okay.
analyze the history data, what's selling, and you look at your customer and in terms of their age group. Yeah. So
All right.
say if you sell young fashion, then they tend to be range in the smaller sizes than the larger size, or
Sure.
they're sort of like just a small or a medium. But then our brands are all very inclusive, so you range from extra small to 4XL. And
Right. I mean, how do you account for all that inventory? I mean, it's
yeah, exactly. So you need to find a supplier that's willing to work with you, that's you can order a very small minimal amount that you can.
yeah, that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
So what's your primary source of new customers, and how do you market your products?
Our primary source is through Meta advertising, bringing the traffic. That's probably our number one. And then also small part is Google. And then we nurture the existing customer through Klaviyo, which is email marketing, and also through social with influencers, giveaways, and also we are trying to get our SEO done better. So just searches, through Google. Yeah.
So with the influencer marketing, like I think a lot of brands I've seen doing the influencer marketing, they come on Instagram and showcase the products, or they try it out. How did that work for you?
It's a bit of hit and miss, I must say. I find that most influencer marketing is like, for example, you put $1 in, you don't tend to get it back, but it's a long-term game. Yeah.
Right.
If you don't do it, then, people don't know you, but you have to do a bit. You can't just put all your eggs in that basket. It's not going to work, but you have to do it because customers, we don't have a shop. So customer wants to see it on a real person, not a model. They want to see, ladies wearing clothes or using your product in real life. Then that's push them through that journey of purchasing. And you must do that. And there's some influencers do actually convert, but then they're really big influencers and it's very expensive, which we don't have the budget to do. But then we can do giveaways, just free gifting, and then you have content to reuse for Facebook ads. Yeah.
All right. So if they try your clothes, you are free to use that content for advertising on different
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, it depends on who you speak to, really. You can negotiate a deal. Some are free to use for advertising, some are not happy, or you have to pay a fee for a month usage. Yeah.
Sure.
mm,
So it's all about creating different channels and seeing which one will work the best for you and your business, and then sort of, but always having multiple channels as a source of revenue streams for your business.
Yeah, definitely. One stream is not going to, it will bring you the customer. For example, Meta is our biggest expense, but it's very expensive if you don't actually invest in influencers, SEO, and CRO makes shoppable, converts well. It's just like what you said before. There's a lot of moving parts, and they all have to move to get this going. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what's one thing that you have used or implemented on your Shopify store that has significantly impacted your sales or improved the customer shopping experience?
I must say, gift with purchases, that was really well received. So engineering a product that will help to increase your average order value. So, normally our customer will spend a certain amount, and then that pushed them through and they bought 2 things instead and they got a free item. But that
Also, it's an
item,
upsell.
yeah, it's an upsell, but the upsell free gifting, it needs to be really meaningful, like actually a good product. Because as a customer, you get excited to get some free things, but not like crappy little gifts. Yeah,
It has
something
to
mean.
make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
All right.
that's done really, really well for us.
Yeah, I think if upsells are done well, actually, it can really increase your average order value, as you said.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But you just have to sort of try and test them as well, how they will go with different kinds of products, and if people find them valuable enough to sort
Yeah,
of come back and buy them more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sure. And what's one thing that you thought was important, but actually didn't bring you much results?
Well, that will be the agencies.
Okay.
I thought that were going to save me, but no, definitely not.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Okay, so if somebody just started selling their products online, what,
Yeah.
according to you, are some of the things that they should focus on in the beginning?
Um, Definitely the product is number one, right? You can't try to sell some crap and push it into your people's face. It's not going to work. So product is number one, and then marketing. Learn Facebook ads, meta ads really well, and then that will bring you the traffic, and I mean, the website needs to look beautiful. It needs to represent what you are. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like in the order, like first the products have to be really good. Then the second, you have to learn the marketing, and then third, then you have to focus on
Yeah.
creating a beautiful online store.
And then if they, I think in between the marketing, obviously if it's a product is very new and there's no reviews, I'll go to the influencers and just give away free products to get reviews,
Wow.
to get social proof.
Yeah,
Then the
that's a
book.
good strategy.
Yeah, social proof is very important. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have any recommendations for learn, like from where people can learn these meta ads?
Yeah, well, we actually joined this Australian what do you call course provider called Ecom Equation. And I've done, yeah. So they've been really, really helpful for me. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Otherwise you can just jump in and try yourself, which is very daunting for somebody new. And also, I must say that don't think your product will sell to everyone. Don't order like tens and thousands and say, oh, it's going to sell, it's going to sell. But test it out first, then order more. Yeah, because you don't want to be stuck in a cash flow issue. That's very, very important. Cash flow is king.
Yeah, I think it's very important
Mm.
as well. What's one metric you focus on when you review the analytics dashboard on Shopify?
Well, definitely sales. And
You mean monthly
otherwise
sales?
yeah, definitely sales. That's the number one thing I look at. And then I actually have a plugin called Lifetimely from an app called Lifetimely through Shopify. That'll give me other metrics like cost per acquisition, which is the number one thing for us. That's like the biggest spend. The money, the dollar you costed you to bring each customer in every day. Yeah,
All right, so it's cost per acquisition.
yeah. It's the whole marketing spend divided by sales. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that becomes very important when you are spending a lot of money in marketing, as you are, because your number one source of customers or the visitors is through Meta.
yeah, because we're finding Google, Meta, all that, and even Klaviyo, it's all in the marketing expense, and they don't report. The reporting on their site is not completely accurate. Everyone's trying to attribute to themselves, claiming that they made the sale, but
All
sometimes,
right.
yeah. So we pull them in all together, and then we get one
Yeah,
figure.
that makes a lot of sense actually, to actually think that, okay, I mean, they will try to attribute it to themselves, but then what it actually costs, because you are the one who's spending the money. So if it's not working for you, I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's it's not really accurate.
yeah. It doesn't. I don't really care if it's from Google or Facebook. I just need to know that this is the money I put out and how much I'm getting back. It's great
Sure.
they attributed, and I mean, you go into the nuances of the ads and all that. Then you look at, oh, okay. But then I've seen instances Google and Facebook attributed themselves in the same order.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
mean, I think this is good. This is good recommendation. I think I will put it in the show notes. Can you say the name of the app again?
Lifetimely.
Lifetimely. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I
Um,
will add it if somebody needs
yeah,
to download and
it's been great for us. Really, really good. Yeah. It's something that you can just quickly look at. I mean, you can set up a big spreadsheet yourself with all the attribution, all the, data, but then Lifetimely, you do have to pay for the service, but that's something really quick to grab. Yeah, if you don't have time and not into spreadsheets. Yeah.
sure. So any other piece of advice you would like to share that you think would benefit other Shopify businesses?
Just don't give up. Don't give up. If you believe in your product, believe in your brand, and think there's a customer out there that you're fulfilling, don't give up, because every day is actually quite hard. It's not easy.
It's a long-term game.
It is, you're right. It's a long-term journey. It's not a get quick rich scheme, as what people would think. The brands have made it, they've done 10 million, 100 million. They've been there for 10 years.
Right, you're right. And
Yeah.
also, I think it's like it takes time. So you have to be really passionate about the products you're selling.
Mm,
Otherwise, you're going to lose that connection and you're not going to be happy selling
right.
the products.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And yeah, exactly. You can't, you got to have the passion as well. Yeah. But give everything a go, because everything is about testing as well. It's about
Mm-hmm.
testing as well as, I mean, the big company has a lot of money. They can test everything, and then they can get one thing right and they pump the money in. So
Mm-hmm.
then our little guys, we have to do that a lot slower. So, and another advice is test everything and believes nothing. Just test everything.
Believe
And
in the data, you would say.
yes, that's right. Believe the data and test
Believe
everything.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, I think I will wrap this up. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast with me. The information you shared, I mean, it was really valuable, and I learned a lot as well. So I'm sure there will be a lot of other Shopify businesses or other e-commerce businesses that will learn a lot from your journey as well. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I love sharing, because that's where I learnt from as well, from the community that was willing to share, their tips and tricks and fails and wins. And that's how I learned. So, I love to share and help others as well. And yeah, it's a great thing that you're doing this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope
thank you.
it's yes, yeah.